Empire State to the Golden Gate. This is Quad Radio USA.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with all the dirt from the world of ATV motocross and GNCC racing, here's Mr. 10 Seconds, Rodney Tomlin.
And a good evening, everyone, as we welcome you once again to our worldwide globecast of Quad Radio Live through quadradio.com this evening. As again, we say good evening and welcome on behalf of our friends at Impact Solutions and Impact Solutions ATV.com. They are your factory authorized Elka Suspension Service Center at 985 Harris Highway in Parkersburg, West Virginia, 304-863-0025. You can also find them on the World Wide Web at ImpactSolutionsATV.com and at Facebook at Impact Solutions. We also want to send a shout out tonight to our friends at SSI Decals and, of course, Ian and the folks over there at SSIDecals.com. Be sure and give them a look-see to see if they can do anything to help wrap your ATV, motorcycle, motorhome, trailer, whatever the case may be. They've got a lot of really neat things that they do. And again, want to remind anybody that's going to be in the Central Ohio area this weekend, Saturday, December 1st, AmericanMX.com Arena Cross Championship at the Ohio Expo Center. That's at the State Fairgrounds in Columbus, Ohio. Be sure and check that out. It's always a lot of fun for sure. As we say, good evening and welcome to our second guest here on Quad Radio Live tonight. And it is a gentleman that is... wow, the bio this guy has got is unbelievable, and we'll get to it in just a few moments. But the best way to, I think, prelude this guy is to say a West Coast racing icon. Hello and welcome to one Tim Shelman.
Oh, geez, man, an icon? That almost puts me close to petrified, isn't it? Is that how old I am now? Holy crap, man! Yeah, but I tell you what, I will take that. I will take that compliment. Thank you very much.
Not a problem, brother. And I know that you are a very seasoned announcer, a somewhat seasoned announcer from what I've gathered, and you've been doing some announcing work. So, you are a brother of mine in that regard, but also you are somebody that I wish that I could have been in some respects, and that's somebody that actually had the opportunity to go out and race and do it. And, I have no excuse. If you listen to the first hour of Quad Radio there a few moments ago, I was talking about, I was 23 years old before I was ever exposed to any type of actual organized racing. I'd ridden all my life. And then I go and I read your bio, and it says, I started riding at the age of 28 and racing on my 30th birthday. And I'm thinking, what? What? It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. The path you take sometimes on, what you want to do. I have a horrible case of like OCD when it comes to doing something. If I'm going to go do something, I'm going to do it like to its fullest extent, and then once I'm done with it, I drop it like a hot box of rocks. But yeah, it was funny. I used to chew tobacco for a very long time, and my wife said, "You know what? You could go race if you quit chewing." So I quit the evening of my 30th birthday, and on the day of my 30th birthday, I did my first motocross race on an ATV.
Wow. That is amazing.
And I've quit chewing altogether. I went cold turkey, or I don't know if I would be better off physically if I was still chewing or not, because I tell you what, I got quite a laundry list of busted up stuff on me.
Yeah, I know. I've got a picture. We'll get to that story here in a little bit, man. Looks like your finger got chewed off there, but you got a bad problem there. It looks like of biting your nails or something. I want to find out a little bit about that, but I think that's pretty neat, man. Like you said, you started racing on your 30th birthday, but I think what is probably as neat as anything, that's one cool thing, but you went pro at the age of 33 and you raced the Work Series. And
Yes.
that, to me, is just phenomenal, dude.
Well, it's a case of not knowing any better is pretty much what it boils down to. You know, you show up and, and I'm just this wild-eyed dude that doesn't really have sense of anything. And the whole racing scene was, still fairly new to me. And I was doing really well at my local, motocross scene. So guys said, well, you're racing pro. You should go try this big national series called the Works. I'm like, well, of course. Why would I not? Right? So pack up my crap. And, of course, the closest one I could find to time schedule was Price, Utah. And go out and do that. And then I said, well, I race pro locally. Why would I not race pro nationally? Right?
Yeah. Logical step there.
Are you there?
Yeah. That's a
okay.
That's a logical
phone
step.
acted up on me. So yeah, I showed up and I got served a 55-gallon bucket full of humble pie.
Wow.
Yeah, so it made me think about it a little bit. And next time I went out, I did a little bit more riding, and I took it a little bit more seriously, and I did pretty well. So I just kind of stuck with it, and I've had a lot of amazing opportunities to do a bunch of great things. Well, first, I want to start out this one quick story because several years ago, one of my sponsors, Christian with Moto X Nutrition, flew me out to Powerline Park to do a GNCC.
Right.
And I show up on site. Santo DeRisi, probably one of the nicest guys, most generous guys I ever have met in my entire life. The guy built an entire Honda for me. I just sent a bunch of parts over, and he put a Honda together for me that I could go ride there at the GNCC, hauled the bike out and everything. And I get there, and one of the first things I do is I run over and I found you. I searched you out. I could hear you over the PA, and I knew who you are. And I mean, still probably to this day, you probably don't remember. But I went running up to you to say, "Hey, I'm Tim TPQ Shelman. I just wanted to meet you because I've heard you for many years, and I respect what you do."
Yeah. I do kind of vaguely remember this in a way. I mean, I get that a lot, but for some reason, when I look at your picture, I was like, I think I sensed that I'd seen you someplace before. But yeah, okay. So what was my reaction?
Pretty much like a piss off. Thanks for coming.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, you were like, oh, cool, okay, great. You came from the West Coast. Okay, you're in for a wild ride. And I sure was.
So I forewarned.
I sure was.
Well, tell me about your first GNCC racing experience then. And by the way, I do want to say you're right, absolutely right about Santo. That guy is a Class A dude now. He's got was he still racing whenever you came here?
Oh, yeah, we were racing side by side in the pro class. Unfortunately, his whole family came down with the flu Friday night, and he left Saturday morning. And he was, they were basically throwing up everybody was throwing up in the motorhome he was staying in. so he took his ball and he went home, but, but yeah, literally showed up. We got there early. And I ran into William Yoakley, and of course I've heard about him for years and everything. And a lot of these guys I've heard about and never met. And I was riding my quad over to Tech, and I literally jumped off the quad. It was still rolling. The kill tether killed it, and then just about tackled William Yoakley and said, "Hey, holy crap, you're William Yoakley. It's so good to meet you." Anyway, we're good friends to this day.
Wow.
But he was like, "Holy crap, look at this guy. Who is this?" This guy's he like jumped out of a van. He's going to, take me up and take me away or something. So anyway, and I was amped up to ride it because I've always wanted to ride one, and this was just a cool hole in the schedule that the series didn't overlap. So I went back, and then one thing I found out the hard way is that the tracks differ in the amount of time spent on the course for one lap. Our basic course is about between 5 and 9 miles long, which takes us sometimes anywhere in the neighborhood of, say 10 minutes to, say, 13 minutes.
Right.
So a GNCC course, of course, takes roughly half an hour to take a lap.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, mind you, my amped up self, I need to go out. I've never been in this country before, so I need to run the course on foot to see where the heck I'm going.
Right.
So about an hour in, I maybe got, 25% away around the course, and then I pop out by the mud hole, the big mud crossing.
Yeah.
And I pop out there, and some guys came over to talk to me. Jason and Laura Struthers, they're over there now. They used to be out here on the West Coast, and they said they were going to be part of my mud flea family, which was cool. And they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Tim, you just ran the Pee Wee course." So I still had no damn idea where I was going. I was like, crap. At least I got warmed up. So anyway, I mean, so that was like my initial beginning of it right there. And I went over into Chris Borich's trailer. We're part of the Fox Racing Shocks family, and the guys from the factory told me to go in and just say hi to him. So I went barging into his trailer, and I don't know, there was a couple other guys with him, and they kind of stood up, like looking to fight. I'm like, whoa, back down. It's just me. It's TPQ. And I came to say hi to Chris. And Chris is a fairly quiet guy, as far as that goes. I mean, you got to wrangle him up a little bit to get him to chat. To anybody, but finally they backed down a little bit and realized I was completely harmless. So there was that. I mean, I got to meet so many great people over there, and every one of them were just super cool. Of course, Bill Balance was there as well. He was racing at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, got to chat with him. So I mean, it was kind of like it was a cool celebrity trip for me. Getting to ride with all the guys, but the course is not marked like a works course. So riding works for so many years, you can go 25 feet on either side of an arrow, and kind of like my joke is the guy marking the course, he has 6 arrows and 12 staples to mark out a half-hour course. I got lost so bad, I swear I ended up in Indiana. I swear to God I did. I had to shut the bike off to listen for other bikes and then fire back up and go find where in the hell the course went.
Wow. That happens.
So that was my debut run, and that was my only run I got to do. But it was great.
And to the defense of the track crew out there and the trail crew that go out and work so hard on those trails and stuff, I will tell you that a lot of times those courses are much better marked than what they are come race time. I think probably you noticed that GNCC has a rather huge spectator following, it seems like, and there's people that just pop up out of everywhere. It seems like people like to take little mementos home with them.
I think that was what it is. I mean, and what's so different about works to GNCC is that there's no one allowed on the course,
right?
On a works course, and if you get outside assistance from anybody that is not entered in the race, you're disqualified.
Wow.
So which is completely different. If you get stuck, you're on your own, or if you have another rider that's in the race, he can help you, or she, for that matter. But otherwise, no one. There's no spectators allowed on the course or anything. So, he's going up these steep hill climbs, and I'm buzzing up these good hills, and come around a corner at the top, and there's a dude with a Coors Light in his hat turned around backwards going, "Go, Timmy, go!" I'm like, holy crap. It scared me to death.
Where'd this hillbilly come from?
Yeah, it was like, holy crap, man. This is so weird to me. Fortunately, I didn't get stuck anywhere. I made it through all the obstacles just fine, the mud holes and everything, and all the hill climbs and so forth. That was, I'm from Washington State, so I know my way around some mud and some trees. I'm not your typical works racer from, the Southwest,
right?
Which, guys are 180 miles an hour through 3-foot deep sand whoops. That's that ain't my gig.
That would be tough.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my intro to GNCC racing, and I tell you what, I would not trade it for the world. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and there were so many great people out there on the East Coast that welcomed me with open arms. It was just a great experience, man. I mean, from when we arrived, David Schloss used to own ATV Insider magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Santo and his family and my wife Maria and myself and Christian all went out to David Schloss's house out in Pennsylvania, I believe, or Ohio. It was Ohio. And probably one of the neatest guys that I've met on the East Coast is Ken Hill, Pappy, that does all the photography, and you know him well.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah, and he is just an awesome guy. He brought his son out, and we got to ride and do a photo shoot together. I believe it was on Thursday or Friday, prior to the race. And Ken came out and did an awesome photo shoot with us, and super, super great guy, him and his son Cody.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lot smaller than he is now, and hats off to the boy. He went into the Army, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Pappy was awesome. Came out and did, traveled out on his own dime and shot and put up photos and stuff. And yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah, and
yes.
I'm glad your experience was so good on the East Coast. And I know that, there's some limited experience for some of the GNCC guys that'll come out and race works races sometimes. I know that Chris Borich does it occasionally. Brian Wolf comes out. I think Adam McGill was actually out there as well. And you got to pull one of your patented TPQ lookbacks or something on him, didn't you? I think I got a picture of it right there, as a matter of fact.
I did. I tell you what, all those boys came out. They all packed eyeballs deep into the Borich rig. And it was Chris Borich, of course, his dad, McGill, Johnny Gallagher, and who else came out too? I knew Yoakley flew out for it. He wasn't racing, but he was helping out Mr. Jared McClure as well. So all those boys came up, and it was a Washington round. It's considered my home track up here in Olympia, Washington. It was called Stratoline. And they all came out, and I was chatting with them beforehand because I thought it was such a cool deal that all those guys were coming out, because it's very much like a GNCC style course. It's through tight trees. The moto track was fairly tame, but there was a really cool enduro cross section, and McGill was shipping parts and gear and stuff to my house. All the stuff was getting shipped here, and then I took it down to him that weekend so he could get all his parts. But yeah, we all have become great friends. I heard the other night that I was kind of put in the same bracket as Johnny Gallagher, Johnny G. And I tell you what, I'm honored because I love that guy. Is awesome. He is so stinking funny, like from day one. Day one. A super great guy.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure.
So yeah, I did a bunch of training prior to, and kind of held my own. I think I finished 5th or 6th, right in there with Bo Barron 1. Yoakley was 2nd. Josh Frederick 3rd. McGill was in there. I was right up there with him.
Wow.
So I was pretty happy with that one. That was pretty cool. But yeah, we got to do some practice stuff, and McGill and I out on the moto track, and he's not much of a jumper guy, and I love to jump. So I was within a couple inches of him, and I was, whipping the bike out, giving him look backs and stuff, and giggling, having a good old time. Real quick story about Mr. McGill. Works cross, so it's just the enduro cross section. We did an event Saturday night. I've hit my head a ton of times, so I can't remember what day is what. But one of those evenings, there was a big double right in front of the stands, and there wasn't much of a run at it. Well, McGill got a nickname from me called Captain Neutral. He goes over these pipes, and he shifts from first to second, or tries to, and he leaves the takeoff in neutral.
Oh no!
And I am right up his exhaust pipe when he takes off.
Man.
So all I get is Can-Am rev limiter. And I see the nose of the bike dive down, and he landed on his melon and rolled down the backside of the landing. And it was during the main event of that race, and I don't know how I turned the bike in the air, but I didn't hit him. I pulled over and dragged his butt off to the side because there was a couple other people coming.
Jeez.
And I just kind of hung out with him. So he got the nickname Captain Neutral. Right on his nose. Holy crap, that was scary.
That boy, you said you hit your head a bunch. That boy's hit his head a few times too, though, I think.
yes, he has. I was keep waiting for him to knock that accent out of his mouth, but still sometimes I need like subtitles when he's talking. It's so thick.
That's great. I never caught that accent. What about whenever you talk to somebody like Bill Balance or Jeremiah Jones or someone like that? What do you think about that accent?
Well, yeah, cool. So I'm finishing up the Ironman race, or not the Ironman, the Powerline Park, and I run into Bill Balance, and I'm chatting with him some, and yeah, I had to really pay attention, like really, really pay attention. And I tell you what, the guy that throws me the most is, I love him to death, Santo DeRisi. And I had him, so Recluse makes an incredible product. And if you don't run a Recluse doing those kind of races, you might as well just hang it up, because that's like the most incredible clutch ever. So they send out a rear handbrake. I run a handbrake instead of a foot brake on my bikes. So I have a left hand rear brake and no foot brake.
Interesting.
He calls me back next day. He goes, "Timmy, I don't know what you're doing. You can't do that, man. Not right." I was like, "What? What did you just say?" You can't. No, it's not right. You gotta have. I can't put my foot through the nose part, Timmy. You can't do that. Yeah. I mean, I was in tears. Yeah, because I couldn't understand half of it, but I kind of got it.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, just being a part of this industry, I've had so many incredible opportunities to meet like the most awesome people. And that was just one of the trips on the, on the East Coast. Very good friend of mine. I got to spend a lot of time with. Excuse me, is Harlan Foley. Mm-hmm. Of course, with ATV Insider magazine. Now he owns that, and then of course,
ATVriders.com.
ATVriders.com, of course. Yeah, that's a huge website. But Harlan and I have done multiple photo shoots, and he's just come up with some just killer stuff. And and he's from pretty close to my hometown in Maryland. I originally grew up in Maryland.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, sir. Right in Annapolis, Maryland. Actually, right down the street where Travis Pastrana lives.
Well, that's pretty interesting, actually. That's something that we can definitely talk a little bit more about, for sure, a little bit later on. But so that was your one and only experience with GNCC, huh?
Yes, sir. That was it. That was the only opportunity I had. I own a construction company, and in this day and age, you can kind of consider me partially retired, if you will, considering the economy. So
yeah, not by choice.
The money flow in did not give me an opportunity to go back and forth. But Moto X Nutrition flew my wife and myself back, and if it wasn't for him, I'd have never had the opportunity to do so.
Well, that's great. I think that's neat that they gave you that kind of an opportunity. And, we know so little about Works Racing, or at least I know so little about Works Racing, Tim. And I can tell you, it seems like if those guys are anything like you, and the handful of guys that I have met over the years, from the West Coast there, you guys seem like a pretty good group of guys, and a pretty closely knit at the same time.
Absolutely. One of the most incredible families that come to the races, that is almost like the hub, if you will. It's the Johnson family. Keith Johnson rides Pro-Am, and he has for a couple of years. And then Mom and Dad come, and then also his sister Jamie comes, and it's like they pull up this huge rig, this huge trailer, and basically it's the welcome wagon. And that's kind of like the hub of where everybody goes. Now, let me give you for instance on how close-knit, say, the pro class is. Now, all of us are at Cahuilla Creek in Anza, California.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting ready to go out on we have a pro practice that we go out on Saturday. So we all pull down to the staging area, and it's hot out, of course. So you can hit Mexico with a rock. That's how close we are to,
wow.
Southern California. So it's hot. Every one of us, I think there was 14 or 15 of us, we had all of our bikes parked around each other, and we're all sitting around chatting, laughing, joking, all in a tight-knit group. There wasn't, two or three stragglers anywhere. No, we were just all in a big pig pile, sitting there, laughing and, yucking it up. I ride with, well, I guess I should say I used to, because I just retired, but probably the greatest group of riders ever. I mean, they're the most humble, gracious group of racers. There was a round where the 50s go off, the little 50 and 70s go off before us, before our big main, and we gathered up a bunch of pro riders, and we all went down to the start line, and gave high fives and good lucks all around all the 50s and 70s and stuff that were up on the line. And these guys should be prepping, getting ready for the the hour 45-minute race. But they put it all aside, and Bill Barron, Josh Frederick, Dustin Nelson, Davey Hagsma, of course Josh Rowe, all these guys went down. There was a few more. We all went down and, wished them all good luck and stuff, and waited for them to take off, and do their starts.
Yeah.
And then we went back up and finished getting ready for our main event.
That's great, man. That's great to see you guys do that. I know that, we see a lot of camaraderie like that with our GNCC guys. Now, there's some drama that gets built throughout the course of championship seasons and things like that. But at the same time, they're all a pretty tightly knit group. And from what I can gather, the Work Series is as much a family series as anything, man. Because you're a racer, and from what I understand, your wife's really involved with the series, and your daughter, who is like 16 years old or something like that, she also, or 17 or so, she is a racer, and she is actually done some pretty big things as far as the female racer is concerned in the Work Series.
Yes, I am probably luckier than any guy on the planet when it comes to family. I mean, I couldn't. If you sat down and tried to buy a better one, you couldn't. You couldn't throw enough cash at it to get the wonderful girls that I have in my life.
Right.
Maria, I'll talk about first. My wife. We've been married for 23 years. Married at 19, and wonderful woman. She goes in and she runs all the nuts and bolts for Works. Runs the whole thing, all the registrations. She works 9 to 5 at the office, and then of course you go out to the track, and the gal that's running all the registration, she's in charge of basically oversight of the whole thing for Works, and that's my wife. And that woman works her tail off. Most people don't know what it takes to run a huge organization like that. The behind the scenes.
Right.
And she does that, and then my daughter Allie, she just turned 17. Last year, she was the youngest girl ever to qualify for the Pro-Am race, and qualified for the big show, for the main event on Sunday.
Wow.
So last year, she was 16. She qualified. She had to beat out, I think it was, what is it, 20, yeah, it was 24, 25 guys.
Wow.
24, 25 guys. She had to, beat and qualify to get into the main event, which she did. And that was the first ever father-daughter in the pro main event. So
I tell
you what, man, the experiences I've had, because of my family being in it as well. I mean, that's why I retired this year. Mm-hmm. It's like, if there's, I want to go out. I don't want to be that guy that gets lapped 4 times and, just say I'm still riding pro. No, I'm not going to be that guy. What I'm going to be is I'm going to go out on top, and, I have the best family behind me as well.
Yeah. And you just retired with an impressive number 9 in the Work Series at the age of 42 years old. I think, Tim, that I'm 43 myself, getting ready to turn 44. And to know what I feel like, and to see somebody be able to do, I'm impressed with somebody to be able to go out and ride and be competitive and ride the edge, so to speak. But to do it from a pro class level like what you've done, I think that's pretty impressive. I think that's pretty unique, and I feel rather privileged to have got the opportunity to meet you tonight, man, to be honest with you.
Well, I appreciate it. You get kind of to the point where you take a pill to go to bed, you take a pill to get up, you take a pill to pee, she's just like, all right, I've done a lot of stuff to my body, over the course of the years. I'm small, I'm only 5'7", 155 pounds. So I'm a small guy. Yeah. So I'm not as worn out as a lot of the big guys get, because of leverage. I got a low center of gravity, but right. I'm fortunate to be able to go that long, in that class, to be, fairly competitive. I've been on the podium a few times. I've never got the elusive win, but I've had a couple second places, a couple third places.
Whole shots?
What's that?
You got a whole shot award, I see.
Yes, sir. I've got a couple of those. I got one at Stratoline and another one at Lake Havasu. Quick story about Lake Havasu. They have what's called the Lagoon Jump. So you can turn in on part of the course, and you have about an 18-foot run at a 35-foot gap over water. Or you can take what's called the chicken line and go all the way around the outside.
Now, is that what it's really called?
Yeah. Oh, well, I call it a chicken line. Well, I mean, yeah, this is a PG-13 show, so depends on the group you're with.
Right. I'm just playing with you.
You get the gist of it.
Yeah. I'm just playing with you, but you got the chicken line, and you've got the main line there, I guess.
The lagoon jump. And the lagoon jump, only a handful of us knuckleheads do it because it's a do or die kind of thing. So we have a parade lap because Lake Havasu City, the track is very short. It's only like 3.5 miles. And we get a sight lap of the course. Well, we turn and jump the lagoon jump to see how it is, and I spin all the way from all the way from the start of the turn all the way off the takeoff, and I come up short, and I land. I case it basically. I drop the back tires in the water and case it, and blow my left ACL and MCL out on the parade lap.
Ouch.
So I was like, oh, well, that's cool, because I felt it pop, because I've already done my right leg before. So I pull back around up to the start line. I'm like, yep, that didn't feel good. And my wife's like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, well, there's checkered flag coming out here shortly, so we're going to go race. So we pulled up, and it was a dead engine start, like GNCC, and sure enough, my Honda's a Kickstarter, so I kick it and start, and I pull the whole shot in that race.
Wow.
So I made it easier on myself, and I started in the front and worked my way back.
Well, there you go, man. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Right. I mean, I'd rather not have crap thrown in my face the whole time, so I just, I saved a lot of tear-offs on that race.
That's good on the race budget. That's real good on the race budget. Now, something that's not is, wow, you said you tore up your fee that your knee there, but what in the world? I'm going to leave that up for just a few seconds. What is this picture that you sent me of your finger, man? Do you got a nail biting problem or what?
Yeah, well, I was waiting on the course for a while. I got a little hungry. No, and what's funny is, like, Lake Havasu is my nemesis. I swear, every time I go there, something fairly dramatic happens, but I get a good story out of it nonetheless. We take off on the Pro Main, and one of the cool sections about Lake Havasu is you actually get to ride down right on the beachfront. I mean, you can ride through the water if you want to, right on the lakefront. Well, just before that, you have a tight little section. A stick came up and went in between the shift lever and the engine case. So I'm still moving. I had a decent start, so I'm still moving. I reached down to grab that stick to pull it out, and the track's all whooped out. Well, of course, I hit a whoop, and the stick jams my hand into the countershaft sprocket and takes the end of my finger off.
Wow.
It took the end of my finger. I mean, I felt it. I looked at it real quick, and then I immediately put it in my armpit, my hand, because I didn't want any dirt getting in it. The first thing I thought of, and this was about 45 seconds into the start of the race. So I was like, well, that's not going to work out so good now, is it? So I rode out through the rest of the course. I rode the rest of the course and then pulled up into the pits. And I looked at Sean Reddish, the owner of Works, and he's like, "What's up, Timmy?" And I showed him my hand. I go, "You got anything for this?" He's like, "Holy crap!" The medic's right over there. So I rode over to the medics, And, of course, my wife came running over, Maria, and the medics cut the glove off, and the end of the finger was still in the glove. So they cut that section of the glove apart and put it in a bag of ice, and then I double rubber gloved it and electrical taped my hand, and then went out and finished the rest of the hour and 45 minutes.
You know how many times I've heard electrical tape and or duct tape has been used as a bandage? That's a pretty amazing story. That's pretty cool. And I'm sure you've got a million of those, but one that I think is intriguing, is the one that we were talking about there a few moments ago, was your daughter and her talents. And you sent me some pictures, and I got a picture here, and she's standing beside a picture of what looks like in an art gallery at an art show. And from what I understand, this is a colored pencil drawing. Is this actually another talent that she possesses other than racing ATVs?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah, I mean, just an amazing girl. She's a 4.0 student in high school right now. That particular picture she did last year in her sophomore year of high school, and it's a colored pencil drawing of a picture she took of our cat with her cell phone. She took a picture of the cat and then drew it freehand and did it with a colored pencil.
Wow.
That particular photo is inside. That's the Tacoma Art Museum, which is a very well recognized Chihuly. If you know the famous glass blower, Chihuly.
Yeah.
He
Right.
does all kinds of great exhibits down in Vegas and all around here. Anyway, he's got a bunch of stuff there at Tacoma Art Museum. Well, it just missed going to the Halls of Congress by 2 votes. It made it all the way to regionals and nationals and everything, and then it just missed going to off to. Yeah, she's an amazing artist, and I mean, it blows us away how talented she is. And we're actually Saturday we're going over to check out a college for her for when she starts up college. It has a strong art program to help just keep pushing her along.
Yeah, that's great, man. That sounds like you've got a well-rounded family there, to say the least, and it sounds like you've had a rather illustrious and well-rounded career. Works some quad cross, and like you say, anything else out there that you can race an ATV on. You've raced some GNCC. You've done desert. I mean, a little bit of everything, man. I think it's pretty neat that you've been able to accomplish this. And so many people, they set out to do things in their life, but many achieve what they hope to achieve, but not as many probably set their goals as high as what you did. I mean, not many people at 30 years old are going to say, or 33 years old, going to say, I'm a pro rider. I'm going to go do my first national race as a pro rider, and go out and make a life out of it, man. Virtually, at least a sidebar life, and one that has become a big part of your family, man. I applaud you on that. I respect you on that. I think it is neat. And even though you've retired, I know that you've got things coming up that you're going to still continue to be a big part of the racing industry out there with the Works Racing Series.
100%, man. Going to do all the announcing for all the motorcycles and all the ATVs. Kind of doing. I do what you do. You fill in an entire day where you have maybe 25 minutes in between where you see somebody and where you don't. So you fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. So you're just making up stuff all day long to chat about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I tell you what, a huge hats off to you, Rodney, for doing this and for, pushing the ATV community as hard as you can, because we're always the redheaded stepchild when it comes to, advertisement, and or sponsorship time, that kind of thing. And, you're doing what you can to help push that higher. And, my hat's off to you. Mm-hmm. So when I heard about, the quad radio, it's like, I hope I could be a part of it to help. To help push it along as well. If I could be just a small cog in the the whole machine.
Well.
Yeah,
Isn't that pretty amazing? I don't necessarily like to do business over in public, but I think that this right here could be a great marriage for Quad Radio and the East Coast West Coast connection that Quad Radio needs, and that's that my goals, Tim, and Quad Radio goal. We've got a marketing director now. It's going to be a slow building process, but we're starting to do some advertised sales and things like that. And that is the reason for that is obviously to try to advance and further Quad Radio itself, because being in existence for a year or so, we've been able to do what we've done, but a lot of the resources that I use are resources that I have at my fingertips. But in order to make Quad Radio grow and in order to bridge the gap of the ATV industry as a whole, we've got to expand. So that's what we're going to try to do. And I'm hoping that that is something, Tim, that you might be able to help us with there with Quad Cross and with the Works Racing and any desert racing or anything that you can get your hands on out there. We'd love to have information and interviews of those guys just to get to know them and what's going on out there, because until we unite, I think, as one great nation, it's going to be tough in order to really grow individually in each one of these little sectors that we've got, from ATV motocross to quad cross to TQRA to Works to GNCC. We've all got our own little strongholds and our little things in the ATV end of it, but I think united together, it's going to be tough to stop a big head of steam if we can get it rolling there.
Well, you're 100% correct, man. I mean, it's definitely got to be a team effort, and the cool thing about the ATV community, the racing community, is that it's all a very tight-knit community. You on any given weekend of a race, I could walk through the pits and stop at any miscellaneous motorhome or whatever. I could grab. I would have a piece of barbecued chicken handed to me, or a beer handed to me, or anywhere. And, that's just how the family is, and that's it's a great family. The numbers on the ATV side are smaller than the two-wheeled side, but I believe the camaraderie is tighter. On the ATV side, it's pretty much everybody knows everybody, and everybody's going to help everybody. Because when we go into this racing industry, we already know that there's only a handful of people that are going to make a living doing it. Yep. So we go down to race because we're having fun, not that we're going to make a living.
Yep.
And that was my whole attitude since day one going into it, is that I'm just going to go smile. I'm going to go have me a good old time. So hence all the the look backs and stuff like that, and just I'll go over the dumbest obstacles just to make the crowd hoop and holler.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy.
Well, so we need that guy.
But yeah, so but yeah, the ATV industry is just a wonderful industry, and I am honored to be a part of it, of Quad Radio, and help bring information. A lot of times what I tell the guys is that I'm not a hole full of facts. What I am is storytelling. Mm-hmm. I'll tell me some stories. I got stories, and I'll tell me some stories. Half of it's true, about half of it.
Yep. And we're not going to tell which half.
But all of it's funny.
Yeah.
That's what I do say.
Yep. That's great. Well, Tim, I tell you, like I say, man, it has just been an honor and a privilege to get the opportunity to talk with you. I'm sure we could come up with a million other topics to talk about tonight, but we are going to have to cut her off here pretty soon. But we will be back. We will talk more. And like I say, I just hope that you are going to be a big part of Quad Radio in the future. We'll talk about this more off the air and communicate about it, and we've got a long winter coming, and like we say, 2013 is hopefully going to be a huge year for Quad Radio. That's what we're amping up for right now, and that's what, like I said, I hope you can be a big part of it.
Well, I'm honored. I'm on the team. How's that sound?
All right. And any parting shots that you want to shout out before we let you go tonight?
First and foremost, my wife Maria and my daughter Allie are just the most important thing to me, and they come first and foremost, and I love them both dearly. How's that?
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I don't think it could be put any better than that. And we'll get to know Tim a lot better in the future. And, of course, we want to say, again, thanks to Tim and his family for allowing him the opportunity to be on with us. Of course, our friends at Impact Solutions, your factory-authorized service center for Elka suspension at 985 Harris Highway in Parkersburg, West Virginia. You can phone them up 304-863-0025. You can also find them on the World Wide Web at impactsolutionsatv.com or on Facebook at the Facebook Impact Solutions. Also, thanks to our friends at SSI Decals, as SSI Decals, a great supporter of the ATV racing industry with graphics and a whole lot more in the background of things, believe it or not. But for you, they can help you look probably as sharp and as good as you're ever going to look in your life as far as graphics and things of that nature are concerned. And again, a shout out to our friends at AmericanMX.com and the AmericanMX.com Arena Cross Championship. That's the American Motorsports Racing at Ohio Expo Center at the State Fairgrounds there in Columbus, Ohio, coming up this Saturday. Again, AmericanMX.com for more details and information. Well, folks, I believe that's pretty much going to kick this one in the tail for the night. Quad Radio Live once again wants to say thanks to all the listeners that have joined us here, and we will have this up for immediate replay following this particular broadcast. Give us a few minutes. We'll have it back up for you and let you listen to it. I know there about 5, 10, 15 minutes ago we lost something going on there. I don't know what happened, but we'll have that fixed and adjusted, and the full replay will be up and available for you in just a few moments as well. You'll be able to find it on the quadradio.com website, and if you're a YouTube follower, you can find it on our Quad Radio channel. You can search Quad Radio Live. You'll be able to find all the videos that we have posted over the course of the last year. And that'll do it, like we said. And on behalf of Mr. Tim Shelman, our very special guest this evening, as well as earlier this evening, Mr. Rich Gillette from Root River Racing, I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.